We spend a lot of time talking about the downsides of streaming services that have taken over our lives, as well as the benefits of physical media. But we don't really talk about what we lose when we lose physical media. And my goal here is to celebrate and sort of motivate us to think about physical media in a different perspective than we may have considered before. There's this idea in the people that are a bit more resistant to physical media that every movie you want to buy is really expensive. You look at the price of these 4K Blu-rays and you're like, okay, every time I want to buy a movie, it's going to cost $20 to $40. It's going to add up. I could just get a Netflix subscription for $20 a month and watch like 20 movies, and it's going to be significantly cheaper than just buying a single movie. Well, I get that. Ultimately, that's not how I really have lived my life and how I consume physical media, because like I said, I get them for really cheap. And when I say cheap, in a bulk setting, they're anywhere from as high as $3 each to as low as 25 or 50 cents each. Like, this is a bag I could walk away with and spend $10 on, and it's full of like 40 to 50 DVDs. I throw away my DVD cases, and later in this video, I'm gonna tell you why I actually might regret that now. But I had an experience recently that I do wanna share with you, because there was a specific movie I wanted to see, actually a couple specific movies I wanted to see that I had to actually go out and hunt for. It's been a really long time since I watched the Godfather trilogy, and I've been wanting to rewatch them. And I was in a particular situation where I could have rented them from the library, but I was like, okay, this is a specific trilogy of movies that I want to own for myself. So it's gonna be worth hunting and buying them. What I will say, it's difficult to go to, let's say, a thrift store and find the movie that you're looking for there. You're probably gonna have to keep a more open mind than that. But even knowing that, I kind of made it an event, like a little witch hunt, to see if I could find it for a really good deal. I did go to local thrift stores, and in those places, I just wasn't able to find it. And I knew that going in. It was just like an excuse to go out of the house. But I think that's part of what makes physical media so cool, is it's not instant. You kind of have to like work for it. And it's like, wow, okay, once I get these movies, it's gonna feel like really good, and it's gonna be an event to watch it. I ultimately got a used copy, a Blu-ray set off of eBay, and I think I spent like $11 on it. It wasn't that expensive. But even better than the movies was like the anticipation for it. I ordered these movies online. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be 3 days until these movies show up, and then Friday night, I'm gonna be watching The Godfather Part 1, and it's gonna be amazing, and I'm gonna have my popcorn ready. It made watching the movie a bit more of an event. And football season is just beginning, and I'm a huge NFL fan, and I realized that what I like about sports is the anticipation throughout the week for the event. And I'm like, oh wow, here is a very similar thing to that of a football game. I get to wait for this movie to arrive, and I get to watch it, and it's an event and it's an experience for me. Simply ordering that specific movie that you do want to see is one of the last few examples of anticipation for media that we have. Also, there's movies that you just simply cannot find online on any streaming services. Like this documentary film called Tarnation. Tarnation is a movie that you've probably never heard of before, and it's hard to find these DVD copies online. It's just an obscure movie, an indie film from the early 2000s, and I've been wanting to watch this movie for a decade, and I just haven't been able to really prioritize getting my hands on it. And recently I was like, you know what? I really want to watch this film. I'm gonna hunt it down online and I'm gonna get it. I bought this movie new, and on the back it had a $3.99 sticker from a CVS bargain bin. And it's kind of ironic because this movie's completely out of print. You can't get it unless you buy it like used online or secondhand. I spent like 10 or 15 bucks on this movie, and it's funny that I don't really care about the appreciation of value of my DVD collection, but I thought it was funny that as these versions of movies fall out of print, the value will probably go up because they're harder to find. We live in a society now that kind of retcons a bunch of old stuff. We're used to that today, whether it was like Star Wars or politically correct things or losing the license to a song. Filmmakers can go back and tweak the original film and republish it as a new version. I'll give you a great example. I was in film school, and my sound design teacher showed me two versions of The Godfather. I think one was like the new Blu-ray restoration, and the other one was the original theatrical release. And he was comparing the sound design between the two. And the new restoration of the film may have had more realistic sounds, but the old version was a lot more detailed because it was theatrical and it was the original intent of the filmmakers. And so you have these situations where studios and directors fiddle with their old stuff trying to change it, and it kind of loses the spark, loses the magic of the original version that we want to see. Physical media, if you have the original copies of films, won't ever change. You know the movie Aladdin, the Disney movie? Well, before the Disney movie came out, there was this other version of Aladdin, and you can't find it online. I'm serious. If you try Googling it, you cannot find this movie online. And I'm not talking about to buy. There's no evidence on like IMDb that this movie ever existed. I was in the basement of my friend's house and we pull out this VHS tape of this old early 1980s version of Aladdin. It was animated. In writing the script of this video, I was seeing if I could find evidence of this movie existing online again, and I only found one German port of this movie on YouTube with not that many views, but I also found evidence of people searching for this movie online and they just couldn't find this movie. But think about all the movies that have been lost to time that we can't get anymore. And sure, a lot of them could be crappy movies like this original Aladdin animated film, but a lot of them could be good movies like anything that Disney bought when they purchased 20th Century Fox and decided to lock away in the Disney vault because it's not as profitable as Marvel is. If we give up physical media, we simply lose exposure to films and content that would be lost to time if it wasn't for the preservation efforts of people that collect them. You guys are so great at commenting your stories about your relationship to physical media, and I do love reading these stories. It's the rebels within us that wants to go against the status quo and be the boss of the content that we consume. It opens this explorer instinct in us that you don't get when you're streaming. And on top of that, platform trust is collapsing. Gone are the days that we trusted Netflix to have everything that we wanted and those things being there forever. I mean, I think the breaking point for me was when The Office left Netflix. I've built up a collection of, I don't know, 200-300 movies that I don't need an internet collection to enjoy. I don't need a credit card to enjoy the media that I consume. And I keep my movies in this binder and I threw away all of my DVD cases. And I actually want to address that. I get a lot of comments grilling me on that, and I do understand where they're coming from. I threw away my cases for a specific reason. Now, when I did this, I was at a time in my life where I was like moving and I needed to downsize. My old apartment was like riddled with like mold, and I needed to just empty my space. And the binder served me at that time. And now I'm in a place where I'm like, okay, I don't really have a desire to display my movies, but I kind of wish I had these cases. One of the comments I did get that was notable and ironic was this person saying that me throwing away my DVD cases was one step closer to going back to streaming services because it removes that extra step. It removes that extra look at the case and analyze the artwork and read who's in the movie and read the back reviews and things like that. And I'm like, well, yeah, you're right. I can't say anything on that. And on top of that, you remove the immersion of browsing. Like if I had a friend come over, they wouldn't know anything about the movies other than just like the title written on the disc, and not all discs even have titles on them. There's just no opportunity for them to observe and learn and make a decision. They would have to rely on me as the algorithm, and that's like us relying on Netflix to recommend us movies. I don't want to be in a position where anyone's reliant on algorithms, even if it's a human algorithm like my own recommendations. But if you do want a recommendation on where you can pick up physical media for free, I want you to check out this video right here. I think you're going to love it.